Hello and welcome to Study IQ. I am your friend Rahul Saigaonkar. I hope you are all in good spirits. Today we are going to discuss about the geomagnetic storm. You can see the news here. A geomagnetic storm from sun to hit earth at a speed of 20,61,834 km per hour. This was predicted mid-April. On April 14th, it was said that a geomagnetic storm would hit earth. You must be thinking now, sir, I did not feel anything mid-April. So we'll understand why you did not feel anything. What is the meaning of this geomagnetic storm, which majorly impacts the upper atmosphere? So in this particular discussion, we'll understand few concepts. We'll understand what is the meaning of a solar cycle. We'll understand what is coronal mass ejection. We'll understand what is geomagnetic storm, and we'll also understand what are sunspots. All these topics are potential MCQ topics. A simple question can come up. In this interaction, you will understand or you'll get information about these concepts, which will be very helpful for you for the process of elimination in finding the right answer. So let us try to understand these solar concepts in this particular discussion. Let's begin. But before that, if you're preparing for exams like UPSC Civil Service Examination, State PSC, do visit our website studyiq.com. You can also download our app from Google Play Store. On these platforms, you will get all the information about our courses. Using these flagship courses, you can enhance your chances of clearing the examination. You will prepare soundly. You will also increase the chances or probability of clearing these exams. And do not forget to use the code Rahul33 whenever you check out. When you buy any course, when you're checking out, use the coupon code Rahul33, capital RHUL33 without any spaces. You will get a huge discount of 33% on all the courses, minimum 33% on all the courses on StudyIQ platform. Right, let's begin our discussion. As I told you, the sun, which ejected certain matter from its corona, it caused a geomagnetic storm on Earth. Why did this happen? First of all, the sun, it goes through its solar cycle, and this is the 11th year of the solar cycle where the sun is ramping up its activity, especially in the month of April 2022. Now you must be having a question first up. What is the solar cycle? What is it connected to? See, solar cycle is a cycle of sun's magnetic field, and approximately every 11 years, sun's magnetic field, it flips. This is nothing but the solar cycle. 11th year is the year of flipping. Every 11 years or so, approximately 11 years or so, sun's magnetic field, it completely flips. That means the north pole becomes south pole becomes the north pole. And this is the year of sun's magnetic field flipping. Now, because of this particular activity, the magnetic field swapping itself, coronal mass ejection took place. High quantities of plasma and high intensity energy particles, they reached Earth. Center for Excellence in Space Sciences in India, they predicted that the coronal mass ejection would hit the Earth's magnetic field and cause a geomagnetic storm on April 14, 2022. Plasma at a speed of nearly 20,61,834 km per hour would hit Earth. Right? And you must be thinking, nothing happened. Something did happen in the upper atmosphere. And what happened? Let's try to understand. Let's first talk about what is this coronal mass ejection. Why does this happen? See, this is the structure of our sun. Sun has a core, and you know thermonuclear fusion reaction happens here. Sun has a convection zone, and sun has the outermost layer that is called corona. In fact, this corona is the most the coldest layer also. Coldest layer means approximately 6,000 Kelvin, right? So this outer layer, corona, not the coronavirus, but the corona. When you look at the sun, you will find a small halo around the sun. That is the corona. And this corona is controlled by the magnetic field. And I told you, in the 11th year of the solar cycle, the magnetic field flips, because of which coronal mass ejection took place. And in this ejection, plasma is released. High amount of plasma is released. So it is said that one large coronal mass ejection is capable of containing about 1 billion tons of matter, billion tons of plasma, which is the ionized gas. It can reach high intensity energy particles, solar particles, or solar flares. They do reach the Earth because they travel with very high speed of 250 km per second or up to a max of 3000 km per second. Now, when you convert this to kilometer per hour, you will get a very, very huge number. So this year, in April 2022, coronal mass ejection took place, because of which a geomagnetic storm was caused. Now, what is this geomagnetic storm? I told you that this is the solar outer layer corona. coronal mass ejection took place and huge amount of billions of tons of plasma and other high energy particles, they reached the earth, they reached near the earth's upper atmosphere. And we do know, if this is earth has its own magnetic field. Earth has its own north pole, south pole, and if these are the magnetic field lines, then the plasma or the coronal mass ejection which comes, it impacts the shape of Earth's magnetic field. What happens here? The incoming solar magnetic field, which is directed southwards, it interacts with Earth's own magnetic field in an opposite manner. This is the picturization of that. Normally, we find equal magnetic field lines on both sides, but once this flare or once this plasma hits Earth's magnetic field, on one side we'll find bigger magnetic field, on the other side we'll find lesser magnetic field. So it interacts with the Earth's magnetosphere and causes geomagnetic storms. Now it is said that since these particles are moving very fast, they seldom reach the terrestrial level. They do not reach the Earth level, terrestrial level. They impact the upper atmosphere, they impact Earth's magnetic field. And it is said that its impact will stay for 6 to 12 hours, and gradually over days, slowly and steadily, the magnetic field of Earth, it recovers. And the current corona mass ejection which came, it was predicted that this was a category 2 G2 storm or a moderate level storm. That means it did not impact heavily. But in general, whenever a geomagnetic storm hits the Earth, how will it impact? A simple question can come. Which of the following are the geomagnetic storm's impacts or the effects? See, geomagnetic storms can impact long-range radio communication. It can also affect the GPS devices. Your GPS might not work very well for 6 to 12 hours and over a few days. Apart from that, geomagnetic storms can damage satellite electronics, and it can expose the astronauts as well as high-altitude pilots to an increased level of radiation. Right? It might lead to health problems. There might be voltage surges because of magnetic activity, which can cause the power disruption on Earth. Also, geomagnetic storms, please remember this particular point, very important. Geomagnetic storms are linked to intensified northern lights which are visible at higher latitudes. We know aurora australis and aurora borealis. So these northern lights are intensified, more and more colorful and more high intense northern lights can be seen because of geomagnetic storms. Please remember these pointers. And this is also connected to sunspots. Sunspots are the dark areas of the solar surface, and they also represent shifting magnetic fields. They are formed in the areas where the sun cools slightly from about 6000 degrees Celsius to 4200 degrees Celsius due to strong magnetic fields that emerge from the solar surface. As I told you, in the 11th year, the magnetic field flips, and whenever magnetic field flips, you'll find more and more such sunspots. And whenever there are sunspots, scientists use this as evidence. Whenever there are sunspots or whenever we can see sunspots on the sun's surface, then we can expect coronal mass ejections as well as solar flares, which will increase the geomagnetic storm activity on Earth. Please remember, a statement can be given. Which of the following statements are true about the geomagnetic storms? Geomagnetic storms are connected to sunspots. Whenever there are higher number of sunspots on sun's surface, there will be more and more geomagnetic storms in the Earth or in the upper atmosphere of the Earth. Right? So this was the entire discussion, and this event of geomagnetic storm, it did happen on April 14, 2022. Right? And it did impact some amount of communication for sure. Please remember all these concepts. Potential question, potential MCQ can come in prelims, in state PSC as well as UPSC. With that note, let me end my discussion. Thank you for watching this video. Jai Hind.